Akhi, Barakallahu feek. I'm a audio learner, right? I'm an audio learner, but that book is very good. I have the way I read it, then I put it down. Then I end up starting at the beginning again, because mashallah, man, Allah purify you. It's so good.
What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. Check out coaf.com. A lot of you sisters, this video is for you sisters, are going to need it. When you realize or you understand, if you understand, what this video is actually saying. So, sisters, in the West, I want you to, when you listen to what I'm about to read, and what I'm about to read is a statement from a brother in my men's community. And I want you to picture yourself and ask yourself, am I that girl that this guy's looking for? And I know it's going to be easy to say, oh, well, I don't want that guy anyway. I don't want that type of guy anyway. But the reality is, most men are this guy. It's just most men are also scared to tell you that they're this guy. You know, they're just hoping they can get you to be that girl. But really, most guys, they want the woman in the way that this guy's about to describe. And if the shoe fits, cool. But if it doesn't, you really need to ask yourself, what's my end goal here? What am I doing? And I'll explain why later on. But let's get right into what the brother said. So there's a brother. He's in my men's community. He typed this in the men's community, and I do have permission to read this because that's a rule in there. Get his permission, but you won't find out who he is. Obviously, anonymous. Anyway, unnecessary details. After going to Pakistan 3 months ago, which was my first time out of the UK in 18 years, I've decided I'm no longer open to marrying from the West, meaning sisters from the West. It was actually the opposite before I went there. So he was open to the idea of marrying a Western sister. I wanted to marry from the UK only because it would be more convenient than bringing a woman here and the process it requires, meaning the visa process. And it is quite a complicated, process to get a woman from outside Western countries to Western countries. Heck, it's even hard to get women between Western countries in terms of long-term permanent visas. So just imagine someone who's coming from outside the West. The women there, especially in the villages, are very feminine. Note that point, very feminine. It's just attractive. Sister, y'all don't understand how important femininity is to men. I mean, it's probably, and brothers in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost as equally important as actual physical beauty. And obviously your beauty you can't control, but your personality you can. And I made a video about this. It's like there's this. I was at the shopping center and this girl, she ended up been about like a 4.5. It was like, it's like, you're like, yeah. She's like, yeah. But she was so feminine and so polite and so cheerful that it really like knocked her up a couple of notches. Femininity, she was so like strongly feminine. And when I say strongly feminine, I mean it's like she was so deep in her feminine, it was just amazing. It like made her attractiveness go from a visual 4 to an overall like 6.5. That's pretty good, actually, believe it or not. That's impressive. You got to imagine, you can make yourself increase in physical beauty by 2 points with makeup. She did this without makeup, just with her personality. Just imagine if she put makeup on. So anyway, femininity is a super important attraction marker for men. So he said they're very feminine. It means just attractive across the board. Obedient. Men love obedience. Just like you love dominant men love obedient women. Naturally better looking. This is probably because they eat better. They probably don't have a whole bunch of, sugars, high fructose corn syrups, all sorts of other trash, just going in their system, messing up their skin, making them obese and all this type of stuff. They probably just eat better, and that's why they naturally look better. Shy. Guys love shyness. Nobody wants a bold, forward woman. Listen, guys aren't intimidated by your career. Guys aren't intimidated by your income nor your education. It's not intimidating. It's just not attractive. Some rough guy. Guys like shy women. Submissive. This goes back to obedience. It's the same thing. Guys love submissive women. It is an attractive marker. Submissiveness is attractive, ladies. Okay, maybe you can't fake it. Maybe you're just too damaged by Western society and feminism that you can't be submissive, but understand it's an attraction marker that men have. They love it. You can almost guarantee they're virgins. Men love virgins. This simple fact. Everybody likes the idea of being with a woman that nobody else has touched. You know what? It's like this. Sisters, don't get mad at brothers for wanting virgins. And this is why, and I'm going to explain why you should hold on to your virginity. Because your virginity is like food. You know, you're probably like, what, American, you crazy. You know, I already hate you. Now you call my virginity food. Yes. Let me see if I can give an example here. Oh, I can't give an example here. I don't have anything. Imagine an apple or any food, your favorite fruit or your favorite food. And then every time someone touches it, that's like you giving yourself away to that person, right? So every time someone comes along, takes a bite of the apple, puts it back down, takes a bite of the apple, puts it back down, takes a bite of the apple, put it back down. Now your husband comes along, your virginity or your sexuality is the fruit. He comes along, there's like 7 bites out the apple. It's not really appealing, right? You don't go to the store. When you go to the store, there's always that one freaky, crazy instance. Sometimes you go in the store and there's some fruit in the apple section and someone's taking a bite out of it, right? Do you take that apple? No, of course you take the apple that's unspoiled, that nobody's picked up, or you can't say that they ain't picked up, but nobody's bitten onto, right? You see that apple and you're like, man, it's so ghetto. Like, let's put that over there. I ain't taking that one. There's all these untouched fresh apples there. That's you and your virginity. Okay? I can't make that example any clearer. Nobody wants something that a bunch of people have taken a bunch of bites out of and handled. Okay? And social media and all that type of stuff, and we're going to get into this here, is the same way. But let's get into that before I jump the gun. They don't even have phones. They don't even know what Instagram or social media is. Social media is the same as the fruit example. I see the fruit example in the sense of social media is, okay, nobody's taking bites out of it. And you can say, oh, I'm American, I'm a virgin, but I'm on social media. Yeah, well, now someone's got the apple and he's like, oh, that's so nice. And just imagine you're watching that. You with your 3,000 followers and guys just, oh, sister, this is the apple. You're like, ew, I ain't even wash that apple and eat it. Ew. Because dudes is all over it. And that's what social media does. It makes you accessible to the world. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes the idea of, social media making his woman accessible to a bunch of other men. We don't want to see that stuff. We don't like it. We don't like it. It's not nice. And there's those guys out there, they don't say that they don't like it because they're afraid of you and they understand how important social media is to you, even though it's not really important to you. It's important to you, but it's not important for you. They understand this. So, yeah, it's important to you, but it's not important for you. I just want to make sure I said that right. So, guys don't like it. It's not nice. It's like, ugh, what do you, and especially if they were allowed to check your DMs. That's why I always say, let your man check your social media. If you're not doing anything wrong on there, if you don't have a problem with, and you're not addicted to social media and you're not doing anything wrong there, let your man into your social media. Let him check your DMs on Instagram. You won't do it though, right? But anyway, they don't even have social media. Guys love that idea. It takes away a suspicion factor because no man wants to second guess his wife. He doesn't want to. Guys do it. Guys get suspicious of their wives. They worry about, men having access to their wives. And social media is a huge doorway to that. When a woman doesn't have access to social media or she doesn't have it at all, it totally removes that entire window. I'm telling you, and this is what I told you, sisters, quit social media for 2 weeks if you can. It will make your relationship better. Watch the relief that your husband goes through when you tell him, honey, I'm not going to quit right now, but I'm going to uninstall just, Instagram for like 2 weeks. My account will still be active, but I'm not going to be on it for 2 weeks straight. Watch how relieved he gets. Watch how much closer he gets. He should, If he doesn't, then he's one of those broken dudes that he's okay with anything and everything happening with this woman. Now I know what a lot of you sisters are going to say, and I'm going off on a tangent here. I don't have to quit social media. I'm not going to. You'll come up with all sorts of excuses and rationalizations and angry reactions on why you don't need to quit social media for 2 weeks. I'm not doing that. Abuamerican, blah, 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 blah. You're an addict. You can't. And the idea of quitting something that you're addicted to is so powerful in you, like a drug addict. Your immediate response is that of an addict, and it's instant. The concept, the idea of withdrawal, it drives you crazy. That's why so many of y'all get mad when I suggest you quit social media for 2 weeks. It's too important to you. It's not important for you, but it's too important to you. It's like It's wallahi, wallahi, I believe this. I believe this. I'm gonna say this, and this is a bold statement on the part of Abuamerican, but I'm gonna say it. I believe this. If you can't quit social media for 2 weeks, I would say that social media is more important to you than something like the Quran is. And you might think, what's the connection? I'm just saying, it's like I've seen sisters not pick up the Quran for like months, but that social media on that phone, they're on it without fail every single day. If you are on social media more hours than you are in the Quran, then you got an issue, sister. So anyway, it's well, let's and I'll even give you a caveat. Is that the right way to say it? It would be acceptable if you had a business that was like taking care of bills and taking care of your life, and making something happen. Meaning, if you had a business on social media, then I can understand it. But if you don't, well, anyway, let's keep going. Um, they literally milk the cows and take care of their homes and never leave the house without a mahram. Never leave the house without a mahram. Now, see, this is something else that you sisters don't, in the West are so opposed to. Y'all just want to wander the streets. Y'all just want to be out, and just be out, you know. And the idea of being out with your man every time you go out somehow disturbs you. But do you not hear what I just said and how disturbing that is? The idea that you will not go out without your man bothers you. Why? Why is it so important for you to go outside without your man? Why is that idea so disturbing to you? I hate to say it, but it's because you're up to no good. You can't tell me otherwise. If you're not up to no good, why would you object to going out with your man? A man from your family. When I say your man, let's say it's your father, your dad, your husband, whatever else. Why is that such a problem? I understand the necessity of the West in the 21st century, but if you can go out with a male member, family member, and you don't because it's convenient, well, why is that convenient? Why do you just want to be wandering the street without a male guardian? And you sisters, again, just like social media, will fight tooth and nail. Independence, freedom, don't need, I'm not prisoner, blah, blah, blah. Okay, all right, fine. You're broken. You're broken. They treat their husbands like kings. Guys love to be treated like kings. Just like you want to be treated like a queen and princesses and treated well, men want to be treated well also. They're content with very little because as long as they have food, clothing, and shelter, they are rich. Contentment. It was a huge cultural shock in a good way when I went there. They're living in mud houses with no electricity, real old school, natural living. They tick all the boxes. All the positive boxes are ticked. And I had to think about it for a while. And I realized it's very hard to find that in the UK, if possible at all. It's impossible. You won't find sisters like this in the UK. And if you do, where are you gonna find a sister like this in the UK? Where? If there's a sister like that in the UK, there's a million brothers in the UK trying to marry her. As Abuamerican, yours truly says, every woman in the West is infected. He said affected, but I say infected by feminism. And I'm not willing to have an ounce of that in my wife. So I've decided I'm getting married from there instead, inshallah. It's becoming a common theme that I've noticed, even in non-Muslims. They don't bother looking for women in the West anymore. I believe this will only increase, and I believe he's correct. Now, sister, here's an important point for you, sisters, for you to understand. There's this entire movement y'all hate: red pill, manosphere, self improvement, all that type of stuff. And dudes are actually they're actualizing it. They're making it a reality. This is why men are builders of the world, because we bring stuff into reality. We don't. What is that word? What do they say? We don't wish it. They say affirm it. We don't affirm stuff into the world. We actually go out and work and make it happen. Right. So with that, more and more men getting the message: work on yourself, accomplish, get better, make money, make muscle, this, that, the other, and they're taking the message and they're achieving it. Those men are becoming high value like they're supposed to. And those are the men that you want. But those men they don't want you. You're selling something that they're not buying. Sisters, I want to see the best for you like I want to see the best for my brothers. And there's this crazy misconception that I somehow dislike women. Yeah, that's why I got 4, right? Because I dislike them. You weirdos who say this stuff. No, it's just I got the women I like. I got the women I want. So if you want a high value guy, you got to be the women they want. Just like he had to put in the work to become the man that you want. Sisters, I would advise y'all to stop selling what nobody is buying, or you're going to end up alone. I might open up a cat farm. There's always that, right? Y'all can always get your cats. So anyway, sisters, I'd like you to think about this message, because this is not an outlier case, this brother. This is a common thread and theme amongst many brothers. Most brothers want women that are submissive, that are feminine, that are virgins, that are not accessible to other men through social media, that don't go wandering the streets and outside without them unnecessarily. Guys, these are the things that men want. These are the things that men find attractive. And if in your mind you say, well, you know what, I don't care what these men find attractive, blah, 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 blah. Okay, then fine, knock yourself out. But I'm telling you, every man you find after these types of guys, they're not really going to be what you really want. And baked into that is your unhappiness.
Aha. I'm only taking the brave.
It's your man, Abuamerican. You do as
I'm not taking the scary. I'm not taking no girls. Are you ready to fight? Yes, sir. Are you ready to fight? Yes, sir.